Set. Start.
Oh, almost. Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Grandmaster Estioko, so just make this easy as you want. Drink tea if you want.
Oh,
Relax. This is just like we're all sitting around the table. So we'll start with the 75th Mudu Kwan questions there. So let's get started on, tell us how you got started in Tang Soo Do.
Well, I got assigned to Ulsan, Korea in 1956. And one afternoon I was strolling outside the compound and I ran across a bunch of Korean rock shoulder training out in the field there, or a compound I should say. And it was interesting the way they move. How really regimental they execute their forms at that time, and how pretty vicious the way they perform, and they look good. So I waited for a while. On the following week, I went through the same area again, and I was approached by this sergeant. His name was Mr. Kim, and he says, "You like this this training?" And I says, "Yeah, I was very much interested in trying to learn." And he was happily said that I would show up a certain day and he would start me off.
So is this you said Sergeant Kim, was he in the military with you? Or?
Yes, he was in the military.
So
at that time, I didn't know that he was the instructor.
Oh, okay.
He was pretty soft-spoken. But I noticed his attitude changed when I was under his wings, learning Tang Soo Do.
So did you have to ask to go train? And
No, in fact, on the first visitation, I was told to move on, not to stir at the Korean shoulders as they train, because the base commander did indicate to us that we are not to socialize with the Korean soldiers.
okay.
At that time, it was ceasefire. Korea was in peace, but yet internally there was still bitterness within the area there.
So Kim, then I take it that referred to as Grandmaster Kim then?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what was your first day like over there starting in Tang Soo Do?
Well, I started with my GI fatigues. You But he says that I'll have a uniform for you. Well, when the next time I met with him, he handed me a white sheet. Looked like it's homemade. It was baggy pants. Handed to me. It's actually looked like a pajamas, white pajamas. And he told me to put this on and then put this white upper so-called gi. And he had a little white belt that he showed me how to tie it. Yeah. And that was a start from there. I felt like I felt like a seed, where a farmer tend to start his plant a vegetable, and it went with knowing how you cultivate a seed, and it came with all the pain, but it was very, very enjoyable, because I was more eager and more interested in what else can he offer, you know. Okay.
So Grandmaster Kim was, you said he was a sergeant? Was he in your command post, or?
No, he was in the Korean.
He was always in the Korean.
Korean, yeah. Rock soldier.
So then how did you guys get to know him? Was it just
It was accidental. I was just walking, and he was walking the other way, and he stopped, and we started converse.
Okay, so is this, he was the one that saw you observing the soldiers training in? And, okay. Who were your teachers, and how was your relationship with each of them? So I take it Grandmaster Kim was one of them.
Yeah, Grandmaster Kim was the first, and then I got introduced to Grandmaster Oseju, but this is way, way, way before I became a red belt. So let's start with the questions
Okay. It's okay, we can edit this out. So do you want to start with the Western Pacific Tang Soo Do, or you want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am kind of curious though about the one question.
Okay.
He asked about how was your relationship with Grandmaster Wang Yi? Was he just at a distance?
The only time I met and conversed with the great Grandmaster Wang Yi was my last week of separation from Osan to be shipped here to Fairfield Air Force Base.
So they talked to you about starting schools in the U.S., or was that?
That was one of our conversation, and I sincerely did indicated to him that I will try to spread Tang Soo Do in the U.S.
And that was with Grandmaster wonky.
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Also, I was one of the first ever had breakfast with the Grand Grand Master Wall.
so how was that? Was it
That was
relaxing or
inspiration. Yeah.
Or was it very cordial?
Yeah. It was. I tried to listen to what he was trying to tell me. Of course, his English wasn't that great, you know. But,
so there was no interpreter?
there was his granddaughter, I believe, was trying to interpret what he was trying to say to me.
So it sounded like his interest was trying to get Tang Soo Do spread to the U.S.
Yeah.
So when did you start your school then in the U.S.? As soon as you got home, or
I started
because you went
in
you went back to Hawaii?
1960.
Okay, was that in Hawaii or was that in Sacramento?
No, it was in Sacramento.
Did you train before that?
Where? No, that's where I started. What I learned in Korea is what I brought and tried to teach Tang Soo Do.
Who was your first student then?
My first student was Henry Mondaren.
Is that when you were chasing him on the fields, or?
There's quite a few times he cried, and but he didn't want to, you know, he didn't want to.
We'll make sure we put that in the video.
Yeah.
So, starting the school then in the U.S. So, where was the first school? Was it from your home, or was it from the VFW?
No, it was at my sister. Strawberry Farm.
What was
Started
that?
with
In Sacramento?
that was in Gerber Road,
Oh, okay.
Gerber and Bradshaw. It was 7 miles from where I lived in Chandler. And from there, I met Andy. Andy was trying to court one of the ladies about a block away from my sister's farm, and he indicated to me that he wanted to learn too.
So, how many students did you have starting out? You say Henry was the first.
Just 5 people.
5?
Yeah.
And who were they?
They were my nephews, my nephew's school friends, you know. And,
okay.
They didn't like the first physical workout after the basic training at the farm. I tried to convince them that they needed more physical stamina. And so I told them just run up to the American Legion Hall and back.
Yeah, I remember how jogging had to be a
Right.
start.
My weekend was from China to the Strawberry Farm and back. That was only 7 miles. You know.
So, how did Grandmaster Kim and Oseju differ in their training of you?
Okay. As far as the training, Master Kim was strictly regimental basics, all the way to red belts. Not only the basic movements, but the hyung.
Up to what Hyung then? Where did he stop at? Which Hyung?
Hyung. He stopped when you were in Masai 1, Masai 2.
Okay. So the Pyongs, he did all the Pyongs then. Okay.
O.C. Jun, he was more dynamic in movements. How you train, basically, he wanted the training to be more fluid so that it'd be easier to learn basic sparring. And then from basic sparring to semi-sparring.
So did Grandmaster Kim, did he do any sparring at all? Just
Only
forms?
on the Ilsuchi Samshuchi, basic.
Okay. So the sparring didn't come to your red belt stage or late green or?
Each basic movement, he shared the basic technique. When you go to the next form, you would learn that form, and then he would show the basic fundamental technique.
So how many villages did you visit with your basic sparring techniques?
Oh,
With Osei-jun?
That was Master Kim.
Oh really?
And he actually, I'm sure he actually got confined with Master Osei-jun. That I should be prepared to go and interact with 4 or 5 villages when they train. What was good was there were basically less than 5, 7, 5, 8. You know, Koreans were short. But they were mean. They were mean. And the beautiful thing about it, no matter how hard they interact with you, at the end of that session, we would all go to some great big vat. It was mostly white liquid, milk, and it's actually the juice of sugar cane. And we would drink 1 cup. And I swear, every time I drank those things, when I go back to the base, I get a severe run. I felt
So you
like
ran back to the base.
The diarrhea was coming forth.
So the villages that you visited, so they were all taught Tang Soo Do as well?
Yes. But the most enjoyable thing about it is each instructor had something to offer. When I say something to offer, they had a style of their own. Some favor just the blocking. Some favor just the kicking. Some favor just the jumping. Some just just the takedowns. But what I learned was that no individual instructor could cover all what I tried. And that's what I tried to offer to Western Pacific Tang Soo Do. Not only you learn the basics, you learn the takedowns, you learn the sweeps, the jumping, make it, a 360. Learn it 360.
So did Grandmaster Osei Jun cover that in the advanced classes?
Osei Jun. All he covered was sheer he wanted for you to act like a tiger. There's no room for pittiness. If there was a slight indication that you weren't giving your 100, he would point to you, sit down. We'll catch you on the second round or the third round.
Some new stuff. Okay, we'll go to Jonathan's first question there. Or one more. So when did the Western Pacific Tang Soo Do actually get formed?
It was getting formed while I was going to City College.
So that was about how many years after you started just the Tang Soo Do school, the Muda Kwan here?
I believe in the middle 70s.
So how long were you teaching then, before that? I'm too slow on math. So when did you start teaching? In the 60s?
It was the beginning of 60s, yeah.
Okay, so 70 is 12, 14
Here's,
years.
here's something you can look at. Make it simple for you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Couple years, and
So this is when you go to City College, so it's about 69 or 71
Yes,
you formed that.
60s.
Okay. What was the reason why you started the Western Pacific?
What was the reason? First of all, I strongly believe that because we have all kinds of religion, I felt that Tang Soo Do shouldn't be affected by religion. The reason why I wanted Tang Soo Do to observe and look at everything with no colors. We were colorless. And that some people was asking me, well, how come you got color belt? I said, that's a difference. You're already, by seeing things, you've already decided what I'm saying and what you've seen. You know? So, I see, as long as you understand, the representative colors just represent their level of expertise, you know.
Okay. ask him the next set? Yes.
Yeah, we could start doing some of those. I think he's already answered a lot of them.
Jonathan asked, how can we use Tang Soo Do to help unify people who are divided by ideology, religion, and culture?
By being open-minded and not so much be blind-minded, you know, be open-minded. Everything that we do from the time we get out of bed, the time we go back to bed, it's a learning experience that continuously Tang Soo Do feels that it adds sugar and salt to our lives, and how we handle it is how we blend, like our seasoning of our food. Some of us like salt, some of us like sugar. But the key master is how you blend it.
Kind of on the same lines as like, how did you balance your time between the training, between Tang Soo Do and your family?
First of all, great understanding with the wife. Because I am not, when you're married, you're not one. You used to be one, but when you got married, it's two. And if you're able to balance that, you're able to balance your time training. And she understand that it was important for me to continue to, because she can sense that I needed to charge my battery. When my spirit is low, she actually can sense it already. She'll tell me, go out, do your stuff. Don't forget, hit the Makiwari 100 times. Or something like that.
So what was your typical day of training?
Typical day.
You start work, you come home, then what?
Yeah. And I want to make sure that I spend half an hour on hyung. Okay, at least 2 hyung. Working. And I would not stop until I sweat from top to bottom. Just sweat. And then when I would go out and train, my body is well ready to share Tang Soo Do. Like I say, you know, I have a habit of, after a good workout, trying to touch students' gi, make sure they're wet. If not, we have to get it wet. But it's and when you sweat, to me, it's complete. I should say a baptismal, a blessing, and with that, you know, it comes with the peace of mind.
So when you train at home, what time did you usually quit?
1, 2 o'clock.
In the morning?
I cat nap. As soon as I get home, I cat nap, and training starts at 8 o'clock.
of guns I'm gonna ask. In fact, Lonnie and Doug and I think the next one even after that are kind of the same. They ask, what were some of your memorable experiences in Tang Soo Do, or what are some of the highlights?
That you can tell us.
Highlights. The highlights of not only the daily training, but our camp training was inspiring. No matter how cold it was, I had to be the first one to test it. If I can take it, you guys can take it. And I find that at the first exposure to cold, how each and everyone that was involved and participated in the training was over, how should I say, how they could, they actually didn't believe that they would overcome. And like the saying, you know, the harder you train, more you can overcome pain, whatever is hurting you. Because after after the first 15-20 minutes, the workout has removed any fear or any negative thoughts, you know.
So you remember any highlights in Korea?
Korea was the highlights was when you train with Osage, you say there was 25, 30 people in a circle. Each one would take turn, get up,